Global transmigration. Everyone has been transformed into an animal in an alternate world. Some have become fierce tigers ruling the mountains. Some have become giant pythons devouring the heavens and earth. But you have become the lord of the weakest arthropods. Fortunately, upon arriving here, everyone was given the ability to rely on killing in order to evolve and gain evolution points in the process, continuously enhancing various abilities. Time passed quickly, and it was soon midnight. If someone were to look into this canyon, they would surely see massive spider webs, densely covering the corners of the canyon, and you are resting in one spot. Just then, a sudden vibration startles you awake. Looking toward the source of the vibration, a palm-sized mantis is actually struggling desperately on the web you spun. Not just the mantis, but many other insects as well. You move stealthily across the web, crawling toward the prey in the distance. After a long while, you open your mouth. You bite down on the immobilized mantis. With a very crisp snapping sound, you secrete venom from the poison glands within your fangs, injecting it into the body of this mantis. These are all instincts engraved in your body. No need for conscious learning. Ding! You have slain a level 2 mantis. Evolution points +2. Amidst the sudden notification, you notice that the mantis has stopped breathing. As long as I kill prey, I can harvest evolution points. In a soft whisper, you don't think much more about it. What's more important right now is filling your stomach. Crunch, crunch, one crisp sound after another. Removing the head, this mantis. Most of its body has entered your stomach. Ding, you are consuming a mantis. Experience +2. Ding, you are consuming a mantis. Experience +2. Amidst the repeated notifications, you also see a bar in its attribute column, continuously rising, until a certain moment. Ding, your experience is full, you have leveled up. As the words fall, you feel a surge of heat coursing through your body. Boom! Accompanied by a terrifying roar, your entire body begins to tremble. Amidst continuous expansion, your body has grown a size larger. What's even more exaggerated, 8 black legs like sharp blades actually become even sharper. And this is the evolution unique to players. But this is also because you were too weak initially, which is why your first level up caused such a drastic change. If it were other animals, like tigers or lions, there might not be any noticeable change. And this is where the fairness of this game lies. Animals or even plants that are powerful by nature, evolution is bound to be difficult. The required experience is multiplied. While animals or plants that are naturally weak, early evolution is relatively simple, only needing to hunt 1 or 2 prey to complete the initial evolution. However, this is evolution, not advancement. Evolution is just a further enhancement of the species' own strength. However, the species itself has a limit. Like a spider, no matter how powerful, it cannot surpass a tiger. So this is where the role of evolution points is manifested. If you have enough evolution points, you can completely break through the limits of your species, opening up new evolutionary possibilities. But there's no rush now. You haven't evolved to the limit of a spider yet. No need to choose an enhancement direction too early. Adapt for a while longer. Time passes slowly. In the blink of an eye, several days have passed. And during these few days, you have been obsessed with hunting and feeding. Ding, you are consuming a rabbit. Experience points +10. Ding, you are consuming a rabbit. Experience points +10. Ding, you have slain a level 5 rabbit. Evolution points +5. Amidst the repeated notifications, a black spider slightly larger than a fist.
Its 8 legs.
Black legs continuously slide over the carcass of a gray rabbit, beginning to feed. And as this gray rabbit's carcass continuously diminishes, on your attribute panel, a large amount of text appears. At the same time, a surge of heat also courses through your body. This is evolution. Now you are evolving toward level 5. And during this period, your attributes are also continuously climbing. Ding! Detected that you have reached the limit of your species. Species advancement conditions met. Can evolve into a small spider. Please choose an advancement direction, with legs as sharp blades. The scythe spider, which slashes enemies like a sickle. The venomous spider, focusing on lethal toxins. Focusing on spider silk. The hunting spider relying on weaving webs to wait for prey. Focusing on mental enhancement. The ghost-faced spider, attracting others to their doom. Ding. Note. Advancement direction does not affect future enhancements. Even a scythe spider can enhance its venom. But the choice of advancement can extend the exclusive abilities of that type of spider without needing further development. Scythe spider. You didn't hesitate. The scythe spider not only greatly improves attack power, but also has a significant increase in agility. After all, it's an enhancement of 8 legs. With 8 powerful legs, you will naturally run faster when fighting and killing. You will surely encounter beings you can't beat. You don't think that just because you have a god-tier ability, like god-tier silk spinning, you'll be invincible. Ding! Please ensure your surrounding environment is safe. You have 10 minutes for the advancement process. As the words fall, you already feel a burning sensation from your body. Good grief, it's starting already. Stunned in your heart, you immediately begin to spin silk. Weaving a web, he is now in a corner of the canyon. Using the spider silk, he quickly weaves a cocoon exclusive to him, white as snow, covering his entire body. And in the next moment, boom! Amidst a sudden roar, a torrent of energy like a river surges from deep within his body, accompanied by an unimaginable intense pain, submerging his entire body. Consciousness gradually fades into chaos, leaving you with only endless darkness. Time passes slowly. In the blink of an eye, 10 minutes have passed.
And now?
If one were to look at a corner in the canyon, they would find a white giant cocoon the size of a ball, lying quietly here. Except it isn't pure white, but carries a hint of blood red, as if stained by fresh blood. But just then roar. A sudden hiss comes from within the giant cocoon, followed by a crack. Crunch, crunch, one crisp sound after another. The entire giant cocoon shatters into pieces, revealing a very large spider within. This spider looks as if carved from black jade, with purple markings, large, sharp, and razor-edged, drawing everyone's attention. But the truly terrifying thing is within this spider. The pig legs at the very front are like sharpened blades. Yes, blades. They're truly like blades. They glimmer with a dark sheen, cold and terrifying, sending chills down your spine. Just now, it was these 2 pig legs like blades that easily sliced through your pig threads. But I have to say, you were a bit surprised. Are these scythes? Muttering softly, you shake. The 2 dark pig legs, each over 20 centimeters long, different from before, with sharp bristles on them. Now these 2 limbs look very smooth, and they radiate a sharp aura, just like his current species name, scythe spider, lesser monster. Living in this world, a rather fearsome type of small, vicious spider, skilled in techniques, uses its limbs as weapons, can slash enemies like a scythe, and its exclusive ability, extension, lets its limbs slash like scythes, creating a sound that tears the air. Quietly staring at the pale blue text in front of you, you pause for a moment. Lesser monster? This should be how this world classifies mutated beasts. Above lesser should be intermediate. Above intermediate should be greater. But I don't know. That giant python who claimed to start with 30 strength and 40 constitution, what level of monster is it? Probably also lesser, right? After all, right now, your stat panel isn't that much worse than his. Species, small spider, scythe spider. Intelligence, 10. Agility, 20. Constitution, 16. Spirit, 12. Average human attributes are 10 each. Skill, divine level silk spinning. Can spit silk threads for consecutive slashes. Slashing like a scythe. Greatly increases the power of slashing. Quietly watching you, also feeling delighted. As if remembering something, you shake your head. Can't get arrogant. While I'm getting stronger, he's getting stronger too. After a moment, you shift your gaze to an area not far away. Messages keep scrolling in the chat. He's trying to find information about that giant python. And soon after, as you expected, he found it. This guy must be someone who likes to show off. After realizing he's invincible from the start, he bragged in countless ways. I just killed another huge wild boar. Damn it. Spent 7 days. Finally leveled up. My strength is already 32. And my constitution is 42. Man, why is my defense so thick? Even a wolf can't bite through it. Looking at these lines and lines of boastful messages, you can't help but twitch your eye. Not even a wolf can break his defense. Who knows how terrifying that defense is? But at least, you gathered quite a bit of useful information. It takes 7 days to level up? Just as I thought. The stronger the creature, the more experience it needs to level up. Also, when he levels up, his strength and constitution grow by 2 points. My previous level up only gave 1 point, I think. Sometimes only 0.5 points. Whispering to yourself, you keep sorting things out. Just then, you find in the regional chat a key piece of information. Hey, did you guys notice? By working out, you can actually improve intelligence. I've been doing sit-ups, and my strength increased by 1. Wow, seriously, that's impressive. Looking at this player whose avatar is a giant bear, you see what he discovered. You're surprised again and again. This game is really freaking realistic. You can even increase intelligence by exercising. That means you can't just rely on leveling up to judge how strong a creature is. Plus, there's another thing. Keep summarizing and combine it with the hints from the stat panel. You find a pattern. That is, creatures not even reaching lesser monster level, even when leveling up strength, agility, speed, only get a 1 point increase, or 0.5, 0.6 increase. But lesser creatures, like that giant python, and the expert wolf player, their strength, agility, constitution, all increase more than 1 point. The python excels in defense and strength, so its strength and defense go up the most, by 2 points each. As for agility, it's around 1 point or even less. The wolf excels in speed, so its agility increases by 2 points. The rest are 1 point or less. This probably is the advantage brought by species. As lesser monsters, their growth stats are better than ordinary beasts. That includes you, of course. If my guess is correct, his agility increase should be 2 points now. So, every time he levels up, agility goes up by 2 points. The more he levels, the more agile he'll be. A smile in your heart. You feel expectant as well. But as of now, better get used to your current body. Whoosh! A sudden burst through the air, all 6 legs moving together. You're fast to the point of being scary. From a distance, you only see a shadow passing by. Even the shape is impossible to make out. That's the speed of 20 agility. Absolutely terrifying. Just then, consecutive slashes in your mind. A shout bursts out. You lift up. Your consecutive legs. Crunch, suddenly breaking the air. A giant tree is cut clean in half, leaving a slick mirror-like cut. You click your tongue, and you're amazed. He only has 10 points of strength, but with the slashing skill, he can cut through a huge tree in 1 blow. Such scary killing power. He truly deserves the title of lesser evil monster. But that's still not enough. Cracking a grin, you slowly walk toward a tall mound, scanning the entire canyon.
Now,
He feels it's time to expand his hunting area. But this time he isn't just weaving webs. He'll use his limbs to fight prey up close. Only in this way can his combat skills improve quickly. In his past life, he was just ordinary. Speaking of which, your eyes show a hint of determination. To him, the true top hunter in the food chain should be flawless. Strength without weaknesses is true strength. And he has a small goal, standing at the top of the food chain, becoming the ultimate predator. At first, he didn't dare to dream of it. But after reaching God-level enhancements, he gained unlimited possibilities. Bang! Suddenly, a collision echoed from a corner outside the canyon. Following the sound,
he saw an enormous spider, as big as a soccer ball.
Engaged in a fierce battle with a giant snake several meters long. That spider is you, of course. Now, each of its legs is like a double blade, slashing continuously, sending off a shower of sparks each time. The giant snake isn't ordinary either. That's a level 6 iron thread snake. Its body is jet black, as hard as iron or stone, extremely tough. Although it's slow, if you get wrapped up by it, or bitten, even you'd lose a layer of skin. Isn't this the perfect sparring partner? You smile inwardly, watching as the giant snake lunges suddenly. You sidestep to the side, quickly pulling away by a body length. At the same time, you raise your scythe leg and fiercely slash down crack. A sound like hammering metal resounds suddenly. My strength is only 10 points. This guy's defense must be at least 15 points. You sigh internally. You immediately activate your scythe slash skill. With a sudden roar, a warm current surges through your scythe leg. And in the next instant, boom! No matter how strong the iron thread snake is, you sent it flying. Several meters away. A deep bottomless wound gushed with bright red blood. It was truly gruesome. Amid its wailing, a trace of crimson light appeared, deep in the iron thread snake's eyes. With a sudden burst, it accelerated and streaked straight across the ground, shooting straight at you. So fast, your heart skips a beat. Your expression changes slightly. The iron thread snake's sudden burst of speed was too fast. If you got injured even once, it would be a near-death experience. So your legs keep quivering, and in the next instant, a terrifying scene unfolded. The iron thread snake charging at you, quietly shattered into pieces. TSS. A torrent of blood spurted everywhere, staining you red. If you looked closely now, you'd notice, at some point in the air, countless shimmering, blood-red threads appeared. And these were the threads you'd set up in the air earlier. At first, without your control, these threads were limp and soft. But with a thought, and with your legs manipulating them, they'd become taut and invisible to the naked eye, sharper than metal wires. Plus, these threads were extremely thin, almost invisible to the eye. If the iron thread snake wasn't careful and rushed in, its powerful momentum poured right onto those threads, turning them into deadly blades, tearing it apart with ease. Absolutely terrifying. This was your brand new way of using spider silk, constantly refining it in battle. Not just these invisible threads. A single thought could trigger a deadly attack. These threads are truly lethal to any fast-moving creature. You can't help but smile, your legs still trembling, as you reel in all those blood-stained threads. Your spider silk is precious and not easy to regenerate. It's better to take it back. What's even more important is, you don't want anyone to find your spider silk and study it. So taking it back is a must. Now, lifting up your 6 legs, you approach the iron thread snake's shattered remains. Slowly open your mouth. Crunch, crunch. Ding, you are currently eating a level 6 iron thread snake.
XP plus 60.
You are currently eating a level 6 iron thread snake.
XP plus 60.
Ding, you are currently eating a level 6 iron thread snake. XP plus 60. Prompt after prompt, you feel satisfied. And not just that, your evolution points skyrocket, gaining 120 points at once. As expected, taking on a tougher challenge doubles both your experience and evolution points. With a slight smile, you see your XP bar has jumped up significantly. Unless something unexpected happens, you'll hit level 6 soon. After advancing to a small scythe spider, leveling up is nowhere near as easy as it used to be. Your experience needs have increased a lot. But that's a good thing. Gaining more experience just means you're getting stronger. This proves all your efforts were worth it. But right at that moment, you lift your gaze and look at the regional and world chat. Many dimmed avatars appear. Your pupils contract. These people couldn't adapt to this world and have been eliminated. You don't know if they'll return to their original world, but one thing is certain. In a way, they're dead. You can only imagine what these players with gray avatars went through. Maybe they became food and ended up in someone else's stomach, or whatever fate they met. It must have been tragic. The despair is indescribable. Thinking this far, you look at those avatars again. The last words spoken by those fallen players. No, please, no. I don't want to die. Please don't come over here. Can someone please help me drive this Wolf away? It's biting my body. It's biting me. No, what is this thing? A monster. No. Among all those messages, one avatar in particular shocked you. A figure with a human body and a fox tail. This guy was apparently a man in his past life. Nobody expected that after coming to this world, he actually turned into a half-beast, a fox girl. But that's not what's scary. What's truly frightening is that he died. His last words before death were, "It hurts so much." It hurts! Please, for the sake of our shared Blue Star origin, remember to avenge me. Kill them. You must kill them. They're animals. Real animals. In her hateful, vengeful last words, she shared a location and a tribe. No one knows what she experienced before dying. But one thing is certain. The moment she finished speaking, the world chat channel went silent for the first time. A wave of shared grief and outrage swept over everyone. Rest in peace, brother. I'll get revenge for you. Suddenly, in the midst of these whispers, deep in a mountain, the giant wolf with two heads looks extremely fierce. Suddenly, it howled at the sky. The piercing wolf howl stirred the clouds. It also made half the mountain tremble. If you paid attention at this moment, you would definitely notice. This terrifying two-headed demon wolf had moisture deep within its eyes. He recognized this fox girl. She was his roommate from a previous life, because she had previously revealed her university and her name. But before he could reconnect with her, everything ended. And he left, so suddenly, so tragically. Is this another world? A bitter laugh rang out. This demon wolf standing at the peak of the mountain was suddenly engulfed in flames. The unimaginable dusk rain transformed into eerie demon fire. No, he can't go to that place yet. He doesn't know where it is. And his strength isn't enough. But one thing is certain. When he becomes strong enough, he will pass through that tribe and erase all its existence. But compared to this terrifying demon wolf, the World Chat channel, after a moment of silence, became unusually lively. Safe travels, fellow Blue Star resident. I'll avenge you. Farewell, brother. We're both from Blue Star. I'll kill them for you someday. Damn it, how dare a bunch of natives bully us? Death itself isn't scary. But dying like this is truly unbearable. One message after another. Countless monsters from all over the world, as well as other sentient beings, voiced their opinions. Even you, after hesitation, spoke in the world chat for the first time. Safe travels. If fate allows, I'll avenge you. Amidst your indifferent words, a hint of ruthlessness flashed deep in your eyes. Players may be enemies, but the last words of this player before dying still shocked many people. For Blue Star residents, this other world is the real enemy. And you vaguely feel, these people now seem to have become the so-called fourth calamity. As they grow, they are also attempting to conquer this vast world, trying to conquer this other realm, to trample all natives and anything else under their feet. Players can fight each other, but no native is allowed to rule over them. This world really is cruel. You slowly raise your head, gazing at the sapphire blue sky, so different from Blue Star. You fell silent for a while too. You must become stronger, even stronger. Otherwise, your fate remains uncertain. Now, as you slowly raise your scythe-like legs, you decide to start a new round of hunting. Shortly after, with webs continuously woven, it's visible to the naked eye, one giant web after another, appeared around the canyon. Not only close combat, he will also rely on webs for hunting. With this two-pronged approach, he can grow faster. After all prey is both experience and evolution points. Honestly speaking, when it comes to hunting, he should be pretty quick. He can hunt personally, and also wait for prey by the webs. Just like now, from a mysterious tremor, you've caught some information. Did you catch another prey? From the commotion, It should be a large creature. You smile in your heart, feeling satisfied. Since his spider silk was dramatically enhanced, it's incredibly powerful. Any prey wrapped in his web can hardly escape, unless their body is exceptionally huge, enough to break free from the ground and the trees holding the web. Otherwise, breaking out of the web by brute force is almost impossible. Now, as you slowly lift your eyes, your gaze looks far into the distance. There, a tragic screech resounds, and it sounds a bit like a wild boar. You click your tongue, continuing to explore the canyon. Soon he's reached an open space. What comes into his view is an imposing wild boar with long tusks, struggling continuously on the ground. The wild boar is huge, about 1 or 2 meters tall, looking extremely ferocious. Its face is full of impatience. Maybe, in its mind, how could mere spider silk possibly bind it? But what the wild boar hasn't noticed is that while it keeps struggling, more and more spider silk keeps wrapping around its body. Even its struggling moves become slower and slower. Strands and threads of blood continuously seep from its wounds. Its tusks grow even more savage. Before long, there's a small pool of blood on the ground. This creature has incredibly strong vitality. Muttering softly, you don't startle the prey. As a hunter, he doesn't lack patience. He'll wait until the wild boar grows even weaker, then approach. It's not too late. For now, he just needs to wait patiently. Time passes slowly, and before you know it, half a day has gone by. During this half day, you've also visited other webs you set up. Simple meals are pretty good, just some small insects, which can be considered dessert. The real feast is saved for last. Just like now, under the cover of night, you return to the open area from before. There, the wild boar with long tusks, looking quite terrifying, is barely alive. Massive blood loss and exhaustion have finally made it collapse. As you smile to yourself, you slowly move toward where the boar lies, feeling your way forward. But then, something seems to be noticed. Low growls suddenly echo through the night sky. You look toward the sound. Not far away, the giant boar that's been lying on the ground stares at you with blood-red eyes, glaring fiercely in your direction. It glares at you. You sneer coldly, and without hesitation aim at it. Toss, swish. A sharp burst breaks the silence. The fine silk produced by your spinner shoots out at bullet speed like a gun.
Bang!
On this giant wild boar's body, a bullet-sized, deep, bottomless hole appeared. It was silk fired like a bullet. Its power comes largely from god-tier enhancements, constantly strengthening your replica spinner. With his projectile silk, he wields power far beyond his current level. Just like now, under your terrifying projectile silk, the bones beneath the wild boar's flesh may have shattered. Thus, it's clear how terrifying his projectile silk is. And this is just the beginning. Swish after swish, you keep shooting projectile silk, accompanied by the wild boar's tragic screeches ringing out across the night sky. This is a creature far above his level. Novels also mention level 8 or even level 10 monsters, each with abilities and attributes beyond his. So, to be safe, you wait until it stops breathing before approaching. That is necessary to survive in this world. Because in the chat channel, you saw many players die from unfamiliarity with monsters or other skills, recklessly getting too close and dying with regret in their final moments. I killed him, so why did he still explode? That creature was severely injured, so why did it unleash such power at the end? Those blood-soaked lessons are deeply engraved in your mind. Of course, some players got lucky and survived, but you don't want to rely on luck. True survival has no luck. When facing creatures so far above your level, you can't be too careful. Time passes slowly, and just a short while later, accompanied by a piercing, mournful wail, this enormous tusked wild boar finally collapsed to the ground. Its breath faded away along with it. Did it finally die? You let out a sigh. You can't help but feel a little helpless. That really was a tough and thick-skinned beast. If it were a wild boar from my previous life or some other creature, probably one shot of silk would be enough to kill it. But this guy, even in such a weakened state, actually withstood 6 shots. TSK, TSK, you smack your lips. You cautiously approach this enormous tusked wild boar. In the next moment, crunch, crunch. You hear one crisp sound after another. You've already opened your mouth, devouring the boar's flesh and blood in big bites. Ding, you are eating a level 10 tusked boar king. Gain 200 experience. Ding, you are eating a level 10 tusked boar king. Gain 200 experience. With the repeated notifications, your experience bar keeps increasing. Until the next moment, a rush of heat wells up deep inside your body again. This is evolution, evolving toward level 7. Strength, agility, and constitution are steadily growing.
But
Maybe it's because the boar's skin was so tough and thick. Your constitution actually increased by 1.5. Does the attribute growth also vary depending on the prey I hunt? Is there different growth? Muttering softly, you realize this subtle detail. If that's really the case, then if he wants to increase his constitution in the future, he'll need to keep hunting boars like this. A smile crosses your mind, and you start to look forward to it. But just in the next moment, something unexpected happens. Because as he kept eating, his experience bar kept increasing rapidly. And even scarier, a line of clear text began to appear before his eyes. Ding! While eating the level 10 boar king, you've unusually acquired the skill Savage Charge. Would you like to learn Savage Charge? Consumes almost half your stamina to unleash a powerful charge. While charging, your strength temporarily doubles. At the same time, speed increases significantly. Requires 20 constitution. Looking at you in silence, your eyes involuntarily lock onto the skill. This should be a skill unique to the tusked boar king. Didn't expect that just from eating he would gain this skill. Does every player get this? Or is it just him? But right now it doesn't seem like the time to care about that. You exhale deeply, then focus your attention on his constitution. Previously, his constitution was 18. Upon reaching level 7, his constitution rose to 19.5. Although his experience bar is still there, because his level keeps increasing, it's clear that this isn't enough for him to evolve again. So that means, if he wants to learn Savage Charge, his constitution isn't high enough yet. So now, the purpose of evolution points appears. I want to strengthen my body. Muttering suddenly, you decide to spend 1,000 evolution points to enhance your physique. And that's the power of evolution points. They can strengthen your body, or enhance your claws and fangs, and even improve abilities. But strengthening the body needs 1,000 evolution points. So during this period you've been saving up. Up to now, he's already accumulated 1,200 evolution points. And now he's decided to spend 1,000 evolution points to enhance his body. Boom, 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 boom. Suddenly, a roaring sound surges like a river. It bursts deep within your body. Feeling it closely, wave after wave of energy is constantly remodeling your body. In just one night, you can feel his body becoming tougher and his physique stronger. But this isn't just visible to the eye. His body has grown once again. Along with those tiny bristles on his body, they've all become sharper. Each one stands up like a needle. If you check your attribute panel right now, you'd definitely notice that your constitution, strength, and agility have all increased. Race, small spider, scythe spider. Level, evolution points, 200 intelligence, strength, 16. Agility, 27, constitution, 24, spirit, 12. A normal human has 10 points in each attribute. With each increase in realm, all attributes double. And with every level up, strength, agility, and constitution each grow differently. The stronger the race, the more terrifying the attribute growth.
talent, slaughter, evolution, adaptability, skill, legendary.
Web spinning, able to spin silk threads. Slash, strikes like a scythe, greatly increasing the power of slashes. Barb can make bristles stand on end for an instant. When all the body's bristles are raised, they stab enemies like steel needles. Quietly gazing at your current attribute panel, you're slightly stunned. So this is full body strengthening from evolution points. Strength, agility, and constitution all increased by 5. And more importantly, there's also a new Barb skill. You can control all your body hair to stand up instantly. A thought flashes through your mind, and you start to manipulate the black hair on your body. Each strand, one after another, slowly stands on end. From a distance, you look much more menacing, like a little hedgehog, absolutely ferocious. But this Barb skill is pretty good. Defensive ability, as well as close combat, are both excellent. But that's not what's important. What's really important is the tusked boar king's ability, Savage Charge. I want to learn it. Savage Charge. As soon as you say it, you feel a flood of information pour into his mind. At the same time, a wave of blood-red energy erupts from deep within the tusked boar king's body and rushes toward you. The energy feels strange, not merging into your limbs, but instead swirling around your body, then gradually fading. In the next instant, Savage Charge. With a sudden murmur, you abruptly feel your body tremble. That hidden blood-red energy suddenly surges forth, wrapping around your entire body. Boom, 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 boom. Your blood feels like it's boiling. An intense burning sensation rises up deep within your body. At this moment, if someone looked at you, they'd see this soccer ball-sized black spider, glowing red all over, with its body expanding slightly. And then, boom! With a thunderous roar, his whole body transforms into a streak of blood-red light, charging off into the distance. Wherever he passed, clouds of dust rose. Even the huge rocks blocking his way shattered. And this is the Savage Charge unique to the Tusker Boar King. Consumes nearly half of his stamina. Strength doubles, and speed increases dramatically. It's absolutely an escape skill. Yes, an escape skill. You definitely wouldn't use this as a combat technique. Wouldn't you end up with no way back? It's much better for fleeing, and he's naturally skilled in speed. When he activates this ability, his speed becomes incredible, perfect for escaping. As for the Tusker Boar King, he has great strength. With his large size, using this ability isn't practical for escaping. A better choice for him is to fight to the death. That actually makes sense. The Tusker Boar King's strength is already terrifying. Doubling it adds at least 40 or 50 points. Such a terrifying force unleashed, combined with his massive body, enough to split mountains and break stones. But this little spider is different. Its strength is only 16. Even doubled, it's just 32. And more importantly, its body is small. Charging ahead is nowhere near as terrifying as the Tusker Boar King. So this ability is best used not as a combat technique, but for a quick getaway. In other words, you now have another life-saving trump card. Huffing and puffing slightly. You're a bit tired too. So this is what it means to use up nearly half your stamina. The feeling it gives you is just like a kilometer run in your previous life. You weren't very fit before. Running 1,000 meters made you feel exhausted. It was pretty rough. And now a single skill actually made him experience the exact same feeling as before. This really should only be a survival trump card. He sighed in his heart. You also realize this definitely isn't a skill you can use often. After using this skill, if you try to fight monsters, it's pretty much suicide. Still, you have to admit, this skill is terrifying. You slowly turned around, looking at the gorge stretching as far as the eye can see. Your pupils narrowed. This is the aftermath left by his savage charge. All 6 legs tore the earth apart. Everything along the way got destroyed. Even trees and huge rocks couldn't block him at all. You smacked your lips in awe. You now realize how scary this ability is.
And now,
He needs to adapt to this ability, as well as to his much stronger body. Time passed slowly. In the blink of an eye, nearly half a month had gone by. And in that half month, your growth became even more terrifying. Until now, he has reached level 9. What does level 9 even mean? except for his mental being unchanged. All his other average stats are nearly 25. The most impressive thing is his agility, which is now 31. Such high agility means your current speed is now at a track star level. Of course, his size has also increased. From a distance now, he's probably the size of a basketball. His front legs gleam coldly like sickles. The other 6 legs support his entire body. 8 compound eyes flash unpredictably, making him look violent and fierce. One glance would send chills down anyone's spine. Asterisk exhales deeply asterisk. You are satisfied with your growth so far. As for the speed of development, among all the players, he is likely one of the very best. The reason he knows this is that you frequently browse the chat channels. In various chat channels, he has gained a very deep understanding of this world. For example, monsters come in varying degrees of strength. Weak monsters exist, but powerful monsters like those truly possess the power to destroy heaven and earth, possessing a might beyond the imagination of ordinary people. According to a description from one player, he seemed to have seen a dragon. Yes, a giant dragon. The flaming dragon of myths and legends, surrounded by flowing, golden liquid flames. A brother to the trees, one dragon's roar shattered the layers of clouds. Its terrifying high temperature, even from several kilometers away, could make one feel as if the very air were being ignited. And that is the supreme existence standing at the apex of monsters. A giant dragon. A predator at the top of the food chain in every sense. It's easy to imagine then how terrifying this world must be to even have beings like giant dragons. And that's not all. You discovered from the chat channel that some players haven't even been born yet. Yes, not yet born. According to the descriptions, this fellow seems to be inside an egg. Although he is conscious, he cannot move. However, listening to this player's description, the other players, including you, couldn't help but shudder. Simply because they are no longer the novices who just arrived in this world. Being able to survive in this world for a month, they have more or less gained some understanding of this world. Yet to not be born by now, but within the eggshell, still be able to continuously cultivate and grow stronger. This could only be a legendary, high-level monster. In other words, some people are born at a peak unimaginable to ordinary people. You just can't help but be envious. And there is one thing to be thankful for. That is, such beings haven't been born yet, giving ordinary players a buffer period. Otherwise, you'd be cursing up a storm. With such a huge gap at birth, how is one supposed to play the game? He was born as nothing but a spider, while someone else is born as a so-called high-ranking monster, possibly even a legendary dragon. Being the same person, anyone would feel the imbalance in their heart. It's just a pity. Inequality has always existed. Just like in the previous life, where some people are born at a finish line that ordinary people can't reach in a lifetime. So, one must maintain a good mindset. Moreover, there is another point worth mentioning. Right now, most players have only grown to level 3 or 4. Even those who grow faster are only level 5 or 6. Like you, a monster who has reached level 9 in just 1 month is absolutely terrifying. At least, you haven't seen any monster with a faster growth rate than him. But this is understandable when you think about it. Other players need to fight constantly, then recover from injuries, and then rest. But you are different,
He has God-grade spider silk.
giving him a unique advantage in hunting. Besides deliberately honing his melee combat skills, he spends most of his time weaving webs and waiting for prey. Others might have killed a dozen monsters at most in a month. But for you this month, you've killed at least 40 or 50 monsters. This harvesting efficiency is on a completely different level. So, except for those players who started with a high baseline, it's hard for other players to compare their growth speed to yours. For instance, that giant python with a starting constitution of 40 and strength of 30, although you don't know what level he is now, it would still be hard for you to compete with that player right now. In terms of growth speed alone, I should be considered among the many players as one of the top ranked. But in terms of raw power, I reckon I'm not top tier. Of course, if I use the god-grade silk, I could hold my own even against that giant python, constantly analyzing and summarizing the necessities of growth. But it must be said, the chat channel is a good thing. It has greatly broadened your perspective and also allowed you to make comparisons. If there were no chat channel, you'd probably still think of yourself as a total noob. But looking at it now, he's not a noob. At least his growth speed is definitely top tier. Give me a bit more time, and I will surely surpass everyone. With a heart full of ambition, you are also somewhat excited. But before that, weaving. He wants to turn the entire canyon into one giant web. In the future, this canyon will be called Coiled Silk Valley, his exclusive hunting paradise. It's just a shame. Aren't there those 7 famous spider spirits? Asterisk size asterisk. You also wish for the company of those 7 spider sisters. Those 7 spider sisters were loyal and righteous. Even though they wanted to eat Tang Senzang's flesh, they were truly not bad to their senior brother. As for him, if he had 7 such spider sisters to help him hunt, his growth speed would likely increase even further. As for other sisters, sorry, you don't trust them. To the current you, only spiders can be considered of the same race, and even spiders aren't necessarily reliable. After all, there is a possibility of cannibalism among spiders. So in this world, it's better to be solitary. You can only rely on yourself. As for anything else, it's better just to dream about it. Just then, as if thinking of something, you were stunned. If he remembered correctly, in the regional chat channel recently, offline meets seemed to be quite trendy. They even came up with things like forming teams. Can you imagine? A mouse teaming up with a snake, or a wolf teaming up with a rabbit. In a moment of silence, the corner of your eye twitched violently. No matter how you think about it, it all feels unreliable. If it comes to a critical moment, even if they don't sell each other out, they'll surely scatter when disaster strikes. Asterisk size asterisk. You don't want to think about it too much. Compared to that, it's better to live your own life. Right now, the most urgent thing is to push for level 10. Amidst the murmurs of your heart, your gaze toward the experience bar is somewhat fervent. Level 10 is a threshold. I've heard that level 10 makes you a king among ordinary monsters. For humans and other races, level 10 is also considered a threshold for professionals. At this level, whether it's a monster or another race, they will all awaken their own unique innate abilities. Yes, innate abilities. A terrifying ability that far exceeds conventional ones. Just like that fanged wild boar king's savage charge. It was definitely not an ordinary skill. Doubling strength for a short time, and causing speed to skyrocket. This is a god-tier skill for sure. And this? It should be the innate ability of the level 10 Razor Tusk's Wild Boar King. So, your gaze toward Jinyan Bridge is especially intense. Now he's just one step away from the world. Night is falling. The hazy moonlight pours down, covering the earth and even the canyon, casting a faint layer of lunar glow. Just at this moment, in a corner of the mountain not far from you, a wolf larger than an ordinary wild wolf, with a bigger build, is curled up alone in the corner. Its cries sound like a child trembling in fear. Its body can't stop shaking. In his past life, he was just an ordinary homebody. But he never expected to arrive in another world, and even become a blue wolf. Fortunately, most people around the world were reincarnated. This gave him a little comfort. Yes, when he realized his reincarnation as a blue wolf was powerful, and began to believe he was the chosen one in this world, reality hit him hard. A terrifying monster set its sights on him, and tore apart his defenses in a short time, devastating him. Even now, blood is pouring from one of his eyes. Unimaginable pain makes his body tremble uncontrollably. Waiting for you. Just you wait. I'm definitely going to kill you. With a voice full of resentment, the blue wolf drags its nearly collapsing body toward the base of the mountain. The depths of the mountain are too dangerous now, and he's badly wounded, so leaving is the only choice. But not long after, Looking into the distance, there's a canyon like a giant beast with its mouth wide open. Deep in the blue wolf's eyes, there's a flash of excitement. For some reason, an extremely unsettling feeling suddenly appeared in his mind. But just then, boom accompanied by a terrifying rumble. Countless colorful elements, swirled like a storm, begin to converge in the center of the canyon, spinning and rising. He widened his eyes, and deep in the blue wolf's gaze, there was a flash of intense heat. Evolution, it's evolution. And from the looks of it, this is no ordinary monster evolution. Gulping unconsciously, the blue wolf's heart stirred. Monsters evolving hate disturbances most, and right now is when he's at his weakest. If he could hunt this monster, he might be able to advance even further. And by then,
He could seek revenge against his great enemy.
thinking of this, the blue wolf desperately suppressed himself, slowly creeping deeper toward the canyon. And shortly after, the blue wolf saw, in the deepest part of the canyon, there was actually a giant white cocoon. The cocoon was about the size of a basketball, with a hazy light glowing around it. Countless elements seemed to sense something, and rushed toward the white cocoon. What shocked the blue wolf even more was the countless pure white webs around the cocoon, densely packed, turning the entire canyon into a world made entirely of webs. Originally, this canyon was lush and evergreen all year, as green as before, but now for hundreds of meters around, all are covered in a world of white webs. Many trees in this webbed environment have withered. Countless silky white threads shimmer in the air, and right atop these webs, there are bird-type monsters screeching. There are rabbits screaming in agony. Even a giant python is constantly struggling.
He sharply inhales, stunned.
The blue wolf is also utterly terrified. This is just too horrifying. What kind of magic pearl is hidden here after all? How can it weave such terrifying webs? As he thinks about this, he rare speaks in the area channel, shocked. Lonely blue wolf, oh my god. Do you guys know what I just saw nearby? I saw a world covered in white, deathly silent webs. Little squirrel sis, what's that? Python King, enough chit-chat. We only get 3 chances to speak per day. Lonely blue wolf, I don't know either. But it's pretty terrifying. And more importantly, the magic pearl here seems to be evolving. Brothers, I feel like this is my chance. Python King, damn. You're seriously lucky. You actually ran into an evolving monster. Invincible, this luck, you really are the chosen one. Hurry up this time. You're about to take off. Little squirrel sis, I'm so jealous. One message after another, the 3 most talkative in the area channel. Everyone chimed in. And this blue wolf is the same one you saw before, in the area channel. Just didn't expect he'd actually find your silk lair. But just then, it was as if he'd discovered something. The blue wolf's pupils suddenly shrank.
He saw.
Over on one side of the canyon, there were multiple tally marks, branded onto the rock wall. He was taken aback. The blue wolf fell silent. These seem like ancient characters. And it looks like they're counting days. So that means this guy is a player. In a rare silence, the Groom King's eyes couldn't help but flicker. However, this piece of information he didn't share in the area channel. Chatting casually in the area channel is fine, but actually encountering a player in reality is not the same as chatting. And more importantly, this guy is even evolving. Should I cooperate or compete? Suddenly, the groom remembered the notification from before, as well as the most critical message. There is no real friendship. He let out a deep breath. The groom stopped hesitating. Compared to others, he cares most about himself. He was already level 8. If he devoured this magic pearl, he might even skip level 9 and directly sprint toward his opportunity. Such an opportunity. There's no way he can't be excited. And there's another thing. He currently only has one eye. It's blind, but he heard, every time there's an opportunity, there's a chance for a cleanse. It's a chance for renewal, for a new beginning. He might use this chance to heal his eye. So don't blame me If anything, blame your bad luck. A ruthless gleam flashed deep in his eyes. The blue wolf slowly opened his mouth. Boom! Accompanied by a thunderous roar, visible to the naked eye, a blue glow appeared in his mouth. The most terrifying ability of the sharp-blade blue wolf is gathering wind element energy and shooting out a half-meter wind blade from his mouth. It can shred anything in its path. This ability might seem ordinary among high-tier monsters, but among lower-tier creatures, it's especially terrifying. Especially for blue wolves, which are also known as wind wolves. They usually travel in packs, dozens of wind wolves, all launching wind blades together, can wipe out half a forest. That's why wind wolf packs are the ones most monsters would rather avoid. Frightening and terrifying, makes it hard to breathe. Now, with his mouth gathering wind blades, the blue wolf's gaze was especially cold. Both of them are players. Both are from Blue Star. So what? When it comes to interests, even brothers can stab each other, let alone strangers. With a low wolf howl, he saw a half-meter-long wind blade tearing through the air violently, flying toward the giant scissors deep in the canyon. Yet in the next moment, the blue wolf's gaze froze. What? As he reflexively cried out, the blue wolf was dumbfounded, because the blade that could even cut through trees actually halted before the dense web. And it was just the first layer of web. After a brief silence, the blue wolf was stunned. What kind of joke is this? Just some web. How could it possibly stop him? The wind blade couldn't accept it. The blue wolf opened his mouth again, spitting another wind blade toward the web in the distance. Swoosh! Accompanied by the sound of air splitting, another wind blade flew out. But in the next moment, that blade also stopped abruptly in front of the web. Just like before, which completely shocked the blue wolf. He didn't know why, but a sense of foreboding welled up inside. And now sensing something, as air ripped through the night, several gold and silver spider threads, barely visible, slashed through the night sky, charging toward the blue wolf. Before he could even react, crack with a crisp sound. The blue wolf's entire body was pierced. But that wasn't the worst part. The truly terrifying thing is countless glistening spider threads, ripping through the air, creating a giant net that covered the blue wolf, pinning him hard to the ground. Awoo! Awoo! His pitiful howl echoed in the night sky, but didn't stir even a ripple. All that remained was dead silence and despair. Yes, despair. This blue wolf player was completely crushed. At that moment he understood he'd run into something untouchable. This is absolutely not a regular player, but one of those terrifying, top-tier players standing above everyone else. Gulp, instinctively swallowing, the blue wolf kept growling. He even started in the area, channeled to call for help. Lonely blue wolf brothers. Help me, I messed with a big shot. I'm tied up by his spider silk now. Please, little squirrel sis. Python King, don't tell me. The evolving monster you mentioned was actually a player. The groom wanted to reply, but seeing he had 0 messages left in the area channel, he too felt desperate. Now all he can do is hope this big shot wakes up, doesn't notice anything, and since he's also from Blue Star, decides to let him go. Meanwhile, inside the giant cocoon. So this is level 10? In this sudden murmur, you also feel an indescribable power surging throughout your body. That's magic. Magic flowing through his body. This is also a trait of level 10 monsters. They've become strong enough to sense the mana in their bodies, and can even control it. But what's the use of magic? Whether it's improving physical attributes, or strengthening skills, it's all great. Just like now as magic surges, a faint dark glow appears on your claws. That's true darkness. It's also your unique dark magic. He's a dark-type monster. His magic has extremely strong corrosive properties, able to corrode most things. But that's not all. When you stepped into level 10, you finally understood the power of his system, the one that gave him the beginner's gift box. A god-tier enhancing system. The value of this system's existence is to help you break through your limits. For example, when an ability reaches max level, and it's impossible to break through further, you can rely on this system to break the bottleneck and go even further.
Take his current rampage skill.
Once it reaches its limit, you can still upgrade it again. By then, its power will be even more terrifying and even consume less energy. A seemingly ordinary skill in his hands might keep evolving and eventually become a god-tier skill in the eyes of other players or even other creatures. That's how fearsome your system is. It's also worth mentioning here, evolution points have similar abilities, but the boost from evolution points has a limit. For example, with an ordinary skill, using evolution points can only boost it to its maximum as an ordinary skill. It can't transform into a god-tier skill. Also, each boost requires twice as many evolution points as before. Isn't it good to use those points to strengthen your body? You have to remember, the real point of evolution points is to keep enhancing your body, developing even more abilities. If you use points to boost your shell, then after repeated strengthening, you might develop a new skill, like Thorn Armor. So if you look at it that way, it's easy to see how powerful your system is. This really is the ultimate cheat, isn't it? But at this moment, looking at skill after skill, your eyes narrow slightly. Rampage skill proficiency is currently at 8 points. To advance further, its proficiency must reach 100. In other words, once the skill is maxed out, you won't need evolution points to improve it. You can just rely on the system to upgrade this skill.
Plus,
Rampage might even undergo a total transformation after repeatedly being upgraded. That's truly incredible. That way, I can use all my evolution points to just strengthen my body. With these new thoughts, you already have plans for the future. This should guarantee that he'll reach the absolute peak someday. After all, there are tons of players who are more talented or naturally stronger than him, and you never thought of yourself as superior. But with this system, it's a whole different story. In the future, he'll be loaded with all kinds of god-tier skills. How could he not become crazy powerful? Your lips curve up slightly, and you're very satisfied with this system. This system really boosts his growth rate and combat power. But just at this moment, as if something crossed your mind, you also turned your gaze to his attribute panel. He reached level 10. If he manages to say something before dying, a talent ability, race, small scythe spider, level 10 evolution points, 1,600 mind power, 22, agility, 32, constitution, 29, spirit, 12. Normal human attributes are all 10.
talent, slaughter evolution adaptability.
Talent skill, puppet string LV1, until it disappears completely, and control others silently. Skill, mana manipulation LV1, able to manipulate internal mana. Briefly strengthen the body. Divine silk spinning, can spin divine threads. Rapid slash LV1, scythe-like slashing attack. Greatly increases the power of the slash. Bristle LV1, can raise all body bristles in combat. Countless threads binding the blue volve. Quietly watching your gaze, focusing on the talent skill puppet string. Just hearing the name reveals how terrifying this ability is. Can silently control others. Even scarier is, this ability can keep growing. For now, it can be detected when manipulating. But with continued upgrades, this ability will become even more terrifying, more and more strange. According to your guess, if this ability evolves to a divine level,
His progress might have failed.
silently and unseen, you can't help but click your tongue. Worth mentioning here is, talent abilities are innate powers, and talent skills, their proficiency requirement is half that of normal skills. How to describe it? For example, leveling rapid slash from LV1 to LV2 requires 100 proficiency, but leveling the talent ability puppet string from LV1 to LV2 only needs 50 proficiency. That's terrifying in early stages, and deadly in later stages, because skill upgrades increase tenfold between levels. To level up from LV1 to LV2 requires 100 proficiency. To upgrade from LV2 to LV3 needs 1,000 proficiency. Upgrading LV3 to LV4 needs 10,000 proficiency. Eventually, LV8 to LV9 requires an astronomical 1 billion proficiency. In a way, it's impossible to reach. Luckily, this world has some treasures that can massively boost proficiency. And beyond LV9, that's where so-called divine skills begin. So it's easy to imagine having divine abilities right at the start. How terrifying that is. Divine abilities might not have insane power, but they absolutely represent endless possibilities and unimaginable potential. Just like your spider silk, if developed continuously, many amazing abilities will emerge. As of now, you've already considered many development paths. Unfortunately, you're not strong enough yet. Can't spin much spider silk, so this ability remains hidden. But that's not a big problem. As long as you keep growing stronger, this divine ability, your silk will become even more formidable. Puppet string, huh? Whispering softly, you also look at several threads suspended in the air. They are crystal clear, even finer than ordinary spider silk, and even harder to notice. Plus, they possess mysterious powers, able to perfectly attach to a creature's body and affect its body. This is the puppet string. You smile inwardly. You're also looking forward to this ability, unleashing its brilliance. Now it's time to leave. You raise your leg and tear open the large white cocoon wrapping around him. But just then, you suddenly feel a heavy chill. He sensed it. He sensed something unusual in the web. Someone tampered with his web. And it wasn't just ordinary contact. It was a genuine attack. Is it this guy? Suddenly muttering, you also look towards the canyon entrance. A huge blue wolf lying on the ground. At this moment, the blue wolf is in a horrible state, bound tightly to the ground by countless spider threads. Wounds cover its body, stabbing enemies like steel needles. Looks like this guy struggled quite a bit. What surprises you, though, is this guy's face shows a distinctly human-like grievance and bitterness. But before you could speak, this guy seemed to sense something. Suddenly lifted its head. Its eyes burst with an unusual light. Oh, extremely excited. With a growling roar, the blue wolf raised its only movable paw, kept sliding it across the ground. Looking closely, those are character symbols, like writing. Player, suddenly muttering. You also figured out this guy's identity.
Indeed a player.
Blue star characters, even the same nation's language. It's a shame, though. You've already noticed. 2 slash marks on the web. Deep gashes. If your silk hadn't been reinforced, it would have been hard to withstand. The web would have shattered long ago. And at that moment, then you could completely control a creature. So what if you're both players? You don't consider yourself a saint. Curl your lips. Reveal a hint of cruelty. You're determined to try out your new ability. But before that, lift your leg. You can vaguely see blood seeping out. Loosen one by one. Oh, repeated low roars, filled with excitement and joy. At this moment, the blue wolf promptly wrote on the ground. Thank you, thank you. I really just passed by accident. Didn't mean to disturb you, boss. Looking to team up. As it spoke, the blue wolf continued. Boss, are you human? A moment of silence. The blue wolf was only replied to from afar by the basketball-sized spider, just as cold as always. Clearly, it's a hot summer day, but somehow, the blue wolf feels a chill inside, feeling icy cold running up its back. Boss, I really didn't mean to disturb you. I'll leave now. Leaving now. Human-like, it lifted its paw and waved. The wolf is determined to escape first. Too scary. Really too scary. Even though the spider is only basketball-sized, its aura is the most terrifying the wolf has ever seen. Even more frightening than the Wind Wolf King, especially those scythe-like legs. Like the coldest blades, dim flashes of light stream from them, captivating as it moves. And those eyes, one after another. A total of 8. Their gaze sends a shiver down your spine. This is by far the scariest player I've ever seen. Once again, in awe, the giant blue wolf shrinks its neck and slowly moves toward the canyon exit. But in the next moment, the blue wolf's expression freezes. What's wrong? Suddenly a startled shout. The blue wolf finds he can't move his body at all. It's like he's been bound by something. And if he slowly looks up now, he'll be shocked to see countless invisible threads spread all over his body. And the source of these threads is right at your scythe legs. The puppet threads scatter dozens of lines in the air first, then silently pierce into the opponent's body, thereby controlling their physical movements. It's truly a terrifying power, but it can't control one's will. It can only control basic bodily movements. Like you now, still a bit clumsy. Your manipulation is clearly stiff. Even with all 8 legs moving, this blue wolf's body still looks extremely unnatural. Oh, in a rush of frantic, furious howls. This blue wolf also senses something bizarre about his body. But before he can howl anymore, swish, swish, another thread, with a ripping sound, goes right through his mouth, actually sewing his mouth shut. I hate noise. You give a cold laugh. You're starting to experiment with this brand new power. Not bad, even though controlling is pretty stiff. But watching the blue wolf's forced motions not far away, you're satisfied. He's really become your puppet, completely powerless to resist. You smirk slightly. You also notice this blue wolf, deep in his eyes, a barely noticeable flash of hatred. You tut and smack your lips. You don't want to play with this guy anymore. He doesn't like interacting with players. After all, players are usually pretty smart. One slip and trouble could happen. Plus, there's always the chat channel. And awakened, it might cause problems. So a ruthless glint flashes in your eyes. You control the blue wolf. He charges ahead suddenly. A rapid sprint, rushing straight toward you. Meanwhile, your scythe leg rises high. No more howling. Without letting the blue wolf say another word. He sees it. Half his body remains standing there. That's his torso. A wolf's body without a head. Blood gushes out like a fountain, dyeing the ground red. And his consciousness fades away. Can spread spider silk over others' bodies. Sliced in half. No pain at all. Ding, you have slain a player. Blue wolf evolution points plus 400. Suddenly, some words appear before your eyes, leaving you momentarily stunned. Slaying a player actually gives you so many evolution points. Are they encouraging players to hunt each other? A bit dumbfounded. You also shift your focus to the chat channel, searching for similar information, but it was no surprise. Searching for similar information, but it was no surprise. There was very little information about this kind of thing. Pitifully little. After all, who would go around telling everyone you're actually hanging upside down from a tree branch? That they had killed another player. This would be equivalent to murder. Among various elements, so he shook his head, suppressing the doubt in his heart, and prepared to log out of the chat channel. But in the very next moment, his pupils suddenly constricted. Because at that time, these few lines of text, and more importantly, Lone Green Wolf, this is a spider boss. So terrifying. Giant Python King. I feel he's even more terrifying than you. My legs went weak just looking at him. Lone Green Wolf, what's happening? What does this spider boss want to do? Had some connections with the Giant Python King and others. Giant Python King, what's going on? As the magic surged, what happened? Lone Green Wolf, no. He's going to kill. The words stopped abruptly. Their eyes would surely pop out. During the long silence, its terrifying hiss shook the night sky. All 1,000 players in the regional channel saw his avatar gradually dimming. Maybe even form some kind of organization or power? Just moments ago, he was laughing and talking, take one bite at a time, claiming he had met a boss. The boss had even forgiven his act of disrespect. But at this moment, he was uncharacteristically silent. The hearts of many players tightened. A player just died like that. And it seemed he died at the hands of another player. Giant Python King, why kill him? We are all people from Blue Star. Amidst the sudden questioning, then tugging the silk, the Giant Python King, a player who started with 40 constitution and 30 strength, was also enraged. He was a generous man, had often flattered him in the group. Regarding this, he had always treated this little guy as a younger brother. Even. They were planning to meet up in person after a while. But now his little brother had died like this. The rage made the Giant Python King's face look terrifyingly grim. Crawled onto a hilltop of the canyon. Hiss, amidst a sudden hiss. Deep in a distant mountain, a giant python 20 meters long. It caused the entire regional channel to fall silent. Looking like a rock carved from granite, roared toward the sky. Accompanying it, and this green wolf, was a sensation as if a small earthquake had arrived. The earth itself began to tremble. You paid no attention at all. He didn't even respond to the giant python king's words. But was there a need to answer?
He's still considered immature.
In this world of natural selection, it was survival of the fittest. Since this green wolf dared to make a move against him, then he had to suffer the consequences. In other words, he deserved to die. I can't move my body. What you didn't expect, however, the green wolf, who was the most active in the regional chat, was that this guy's regional channel activity. Were these guys planning to team up? Like a guild or something? Amidst the sudden murmuring, you were also lost in thought. Chat channels. Very unsettling. Especially the regional chat channel. You're not afraid at all. Even though your body is now basketball-sized, looked as if it had been corroded. As such, and now the giant python king showed this trend. With his eyes narrowing slightly, you suppressed the thoughts in your heart. These had nothing to do with him. The strong walk alone. Only the weak huddle together. And more importantly, it was hard for you to trust these players. They might stab you in the back. This wasn't the previous world bound by laws. Your whole body then swings along the silk. In this current world, without the shackles of law, the moral compass above one's head was no longer enough to restrain human actions. So every kind of betrayal was possible. And you were unwilling to get involved in these disputes. You fulfilled your sorry, he hadn't developed it yet, called humanitarian duty, by burying the green wolf's corpse. The corpse of a player, he was unwilling to eat it. A little bit of experience was no big deal. Time flowed slowly. And the so-called spider sense. In the blink of an eye, it was midnight. The strength of your current body. Not a single mark left behind. It was truly powerful. Especially the dark magic. Hey, he's not controlling my body, is he? It exceeded your imagination. Just like now, your legs actually emitted a pitch-black, ink-like glow. Squirrel sister. A huge rock was as fragile as a piece of paper, willing to protect others, just like now moving among the branches. And that cut, in his previous life, making one's pupils shrink. This was dark magic. It was the most lethal kind. Perhaps it lacked the fiery explosion of fire magic. Perhaps it lacked the extreme cold and gloom of ice magic. But in terms of dread, it was even superior. Because dark magic could ignore part of the defense, then the prototype of a faction could likely emerge and directly corrode the enemy's body. This was equivalent to true damage. One could imagine the terror of your dark magic. It was just a pity that currently your use of dark magic, with a smile in your heart, was limited to simply coating your limbs. As for anything else, dead, green wolf is dead. Sigh. With a sigh, you also knew this couldn't be rushed. You can't get fat from one bite. And now? It was time to go out and explore. Strength, agility, but it also leaves no trace, appearing and disappearing like a ghost. He was also equipped with various abilities, plus the god-grade spider silk. Now, your combat power among low-level monsters, suppressing your fear. He actually saw in the regional chat channel. As such, the risk of going out was greatly reduced. This canyon could no longer satisfy your hunting needs. With the corners of your mouth curling slightly, you were also somewhat expectant, looking forward to the world outside. I wonder what this world actually looks like. Amidst the sudden murmur, rage, unimaginable fury. A black spider the size of a basketball, overlooking the mountains from Pansy. Outside the canyon was an endless forest. But this forest was different from the one in the previous life. The trees, shooting it towards a distant tree, were exceptionally lush and tall. Among them were many giant trees dozens of meters high. Dozens of meters high. What does that mean? They were like one high-rise building after another. But these kinds of very tall trees could be seen everywhere here. stretching as far as the eye could see. It's absolutely spectacular, even terrifying. But unfortunately, such a magnificent forest is actually hidden within thick white fog, making it impossible to see its entirety. What's even more frightening is, this vast forest occasionally echoes with low roars. Oh, oh, roar, roar. These roars are so terrifying that even hearing them from afar, you can't help but feel a chill in your heart. The only thing to be thankful for is these roars are extremely distant. So distant that you almost think you're imagining things. Should be among the best. You take a deep breath, you know full well, that is the terror hiding deep within the mountains. And now it's an existence you must not provoke. There's the spider's natural suction ability, provided the possibility for all of this. A soft chuckle. Everyone has been weak at some point. As for him now, he knew these words were the giant python king questioning him. According to this world's standards, he hasn't even reached adulthood yet. He still has evolution points. As long as he stays cautious, are much stronger than ordinary people. For now, he just needs to grow quietly and steadily. Crawling forward, you smile to yourself. You also move with utmost stealth, climbing onto an enormous tree. As long as there was a powerful enough player, these trees really are massive. Climbing onto these trees, easily torn apart. You're as tiny as an insect in your previous life. Sizzle, amidst a sudden sharp sound, actually provides the necessary cover for you to hide. Constantly weaving through them, whose names were unknown. Shouldn't we stand together against common enemies? Occasionally spitting out a strand of spider silk seems to require quite a lot of evolution points. Making sure it's fixed in place, because that's like a human walking upside down under a ceiling. This has become the most suitable way you've found to move lately. And constitution were all very high. By this time, you had adapted to. It not only lets you move incredibly fast, but at this moment, if someone were to pay attention to your silhouette,
And this,
they'd definitely notice and move as if it's flat ground. And this, like you're on a swing. It was indeed possible. If others saw this, but for you, that's perfectly normal. Because you're a spider. All 6 legs have incredibly powerful suction ability, able to walk anywhere. As a spider, even as a monster spider, you need to understand all of a spider's innate advantages. With 8 legs, though 2 have become powerful attack limbs, he will inevitably become strong in the future. Honestly, you're looking forward to confronting those creatures one day. And this could be considered your final act of kindness. The remaining 6 are enough for high-speed movement. These are all things you need to know. It's just a pity, when it comes to spider sense, you still haven't figured it out. Besides that, you realize your reflexes, but you can't really describe it, or even fully understand it. It feels like there's a thin barrier blocking you. Sometimes you wonder if he needs to spend evolution points to strengthen his brain, given the chance. But enhancing the brain domain, it needs at least 2,000 points. And after accumulating day by day, you only have around 1,700 now. So upgrading the brain has to wait. The most important thing now is hunting. You grin, speeding through the trees, and you discover is a rabbit. It's just different from the usual rabbits. This rabbit here is obviously twice the size of the others, and its whole body is covered in flame-like markings. It really doesn't look like a normal rabbit, but that doesn't affect your hunt. Silently, you creep up above this rabbit. You hide yourself under the cover of leaves and quietly start weaving spider silk. And in the next instant, whoosh, accompanied by a slicing sound through the air, a white spider web suddenly expands in size and shoots straight at the nearby rabbit. With a sudden low growl, it didn't sound like a rabbit's cry at all. This rabbit with flame markings immediately turns around and then opens its mouth. In a roaring explosion, a burst of flame shoots straight out from the rabbit's mouth. Damn, that's terrifying. You also feel a wave of searing heat. It's as if the very air is burning. Luckily, the white spider web intercepts the burst of flames. With a bang as the web and fire collide, Flames spray everywhere. But fortunately, your spider silk is surprisingly strong. It doesn't break immediately. You know, normal spider silk is extremely fragile to fire. But now, your spider silk seems pretty fire resistant. So in the next moment, with a series of panic squeals, this flame rabbit gets pinned under your web. It can even breathe fire. As expected in this world, even a rabbit can't be underestimated. You whisper softly to yourself and throw out another spider web, pinning the rabbit firmly to the ground. Its webs are pretty terrifying, especially when it comes to restraining enemies. Just like now, under your web, the flame rabbit keeps struggling, but it can barely move. Apart from some blood splattering, there's more flames continuously bursting from the web. At a glance, it looks very strange. At this moment, it slowly raises its scythe-like leg, and you leap down from above. With a tearing sound and a flash, a half-meter high column of blood shoots out. Soon, a rabbit slowly collapses in its own blood. Ding, you are feeding on a level 6 flame rabbit. Experience plus 60. Ding. You are feeding on a level 6 flame rabbit. Experience plus 60. Ding. You are feeding on a level 6 flame rabbit. Experience plus 60. With consecutive notifications, half the rabbit has already been devoured by you. It actually tastes pretty good. You give a gentle note of approval. You're satisfied. This little rabbit's meat is quite tasty. It's even more tender than the rabbit meat from your previous life. It's just a pity it can't breathe fire. Otherwise, you could have roasted it first. But right now, survival is tough enough, so there's no need to bother with such luxuries. Better to focus on hunting and evolving. But just as you're eating, you notice the arrival of an unwelcome guest. Seems it was the strong scent of fresh blood that brought it here. You whisper softly to yourself and lift your eyes slowly. It's a huge snake, over 4 or 5 meters long. Vividly green, its cold, frightening eyes staring at you. With a constant hissing, it feels like the very air is getting colder. And in the next instant, as a sudden hiss pierces the air, this giant snake shoots forward like a lightning bolt, snapping its jaws at you. With a cold snort, you manage to catch its movement, but you don't fight back with your web right away. Instead, you leap away with your whole body. When it comes to speed, it's definitely as good as you are, just like now moving so fast it leaves an afterimage. A dark shadow leaps over 10 meters into the air. At the same time, you prepare your legs. You quickly pull up your legs and slash down with all your might. Bang! With an explosive sound, green snake scales fly everywhere, with blood spraying out as well. But just a moment later, your eyes narrow in shock, your heart pounding in horror. You suddenly feel a wave of severe pain through your body. As crackling sounds ring out, your abdomen is torn open. It's the snake's blood splattering on you. Like boiling oil at high temperature, it's far more terrifying than that. It actually corrodes your body. The pain makes you bare your fangs. I knew it. You should never underestimate the monsters in this world. With a startled yell, you instantly fire off a strand of spider silk, wrapping it around a branch overhead, and drag your whole body up. Damn, even the snake's blood is poisonous. Who would have thought? Good thing you didn't try to hunt it right away. Otherwise, you might have lost your mouth. Suppressing the terror in your heart, you calm yourself down. But strangely, a sense of pleasure grows in your mind. Now this is fun. Getting hurt, the clash of battle. This is what a man truly craves in a fight. You suddenly grin, gazing at the giant, wary snake below, your 8 eyes flickering, with a faint mysterious glow. Meanwhile, as mana surges, your scythe-like legs glow with a dark light. With dark magic, your attack power gets a huge boost, especially in your legs. It even lets you partially ignore some defenses. A moment ago, the snake's scales managed to endure your strike. But what about now? You smirk, then leap down again, like a falling meteor. You cross your scythe legs, this time aiming for a deadly strike. But just then, with a series of chilling hisses, the snake suddenly opens its mouth wide, and you can vaguely see a green glow flickering in its throat. Reacting instinctively with the help of your web, you spin 180 degrees in midair, just barely dodging that green glow. But the big tree behind you wasn't so lucky. With a constant sizzle, a corrosive sound echoes, and on the trunk of the big tree, there's now a pit almost half a meter deep. After a moment of silence, a chill runs down your back, and a cold fear grips your heart. Man, this thing's no joke. This giant snake is pretty terrifying. Does it think I can only fight up close? You curse unhappily, since you really didn't use your web just now. There was no need. Even though this snake is powerful, it's still within your ability to handle. You figure, the snake is at most level 7 or 8, but compared to rabbits and other monsters, it's much better at hunting, and much more aggressive. So that's why it seems a lot scarier. But honestly, that's not a big problem. His skills are enough to handle this. Besides, it's rare to encounter such an opponent. It's the perfect chance to hone his close-quarters combat skills. Thinking of this, your eyes narrowed. Now, it's his turn. Chuckling inwardly, you leaped from the heights once again. Only this time, he didn't leap straight toward the giant snake. Instead, he moved between tree after tree, weaving back and forth. With your current agility bonus of 30, your speed was unimaginably fast. Especially since the giant snake already had poor eyesight. It couldn't track your position for a moment. And just then, amidst a sudden roar of die, you leaped down from behind the giant snake, striking first, raising your scythe legs high, while a dark light surged. A terrifying killing intent enveloped the giant snake. Amidst a sudden boom, the giant snake was sent flying back by your slash. If you were paying attention now, you would surely see that on the giant snake's body, a massive wound had appeared. Amidst shrill, agonizing hisses, the giant snake struggled continuously on the ground. A piercing pain spread through its entire body, even causing its body to start trembling, but at this moment you showed no mercy while having the upper hand. Your 6 legs tapped rapidly on the ground, as his entire body shot toward the giant snake. Asterisk slash slashed stesk one strike after another. You targeted the giant snake's vital spot. As the saying goes, to kill a snake, hit its vitals. This world shouldn't be an exception. This vital spot is equivalent to the snake's heart. One hit is fatal. So you attacked without hesitation. Asterisk bang bang. With the continuous impact, the giant snake's screams grew more agonizing. Its speed couldn't keep up with yours, and since it was so enormous, it seemed like a sitting duck to you. Let it attack all at once. Even with occasional resistance, its tail lashings missed. Therefore, only one path remained for this giant snake. And that was asterisk crack. Hearing a crisp snap, half of your scythe leg pierced through the snake's vital spot. Done, you thought with a slight smirk. You were satisfied? This battle was decent. Sharp enough, though there were many shortcomings. For instance, some of his attacks could have been faster. Even with the first strike, he could have taken the snake's life. But it was only after dozens of moves that he delivered the fatal blow. It was clear that he was still a rookie. Winning was largely due to his attributes. His stat panel far exceeded the snake's. Strength and speed were on completely different levels. How could this snake possibly be your match? But at this moment, your gaze toward the blue light screen froze. You are suffering from severe toxin. Poison resistance plus 0.2, asterisk ding. You are suffering from severe toxin. Poison resistance plus 0.2, asterisk ding. You are suffering from severe toxin. Poison resistance plus 0.2. Amidst the repeated notifications, you were indeed a bit stunned. And beyond that, there was even more information. Ding, you are being scorched by flames. Fire resistance plus 0.1. This must be from when you hunted the flame rabbit earlier. A prompt for resisting fire appeared.
He didn't notice it at the time.
But now he's seen it. And he's a bit confused. Is this my innate adaptability? Amid the sound of a sharp intake of breath, You also felt an overwhelming surge of joy. This innate adaptability seems kind of terrifying. It can actually boost all his resistances easily. He clicked his tongue in amazement. A picture popped into his mind. That is, when all his resistances are maxed out, how terrifying would that be? Taking a bath in magma, but maybe not. Hard to imagine. If that day ever comes, I might actually become a god. Amid newborn whispers, you can't help but look forward to it. So this innate ability of his is kind of scary. And it's not just any kind of scary. People say smaller animals adapt better. I never thought my adaptability would be this terrifying. If I can easily adapt to harsh environments and boost my own resistances, the corners of my mouth curl up. You realize that this gift will guarantee his strength in the future. What is resistance? It's the ability to withstand negative factors. For things like resistance, obviously, the more the better. The stronger, the better. If every resistance can be maxed out, maybe not unbeatable. But in this world, it should be more than enough for self-preservation. So once you realize your resistance can be improved constantly through adaptability, you also decide to start training your resistances and incorporate it into your cultivation plan. Not just fire resistance, but also poison resistance. And things like cold resistance and corrosion resistance, I'm going to stack them all. Amid newborn whispers, you also noticed there's now an extra blue overlay at the lower right of his blue screen. That's the resistance bar. Currently, fire resistance is 0.1, and poison resistance is 0.6. That's already pretty good. And this is just the beginning. There's still plenty of time. If it focuses on boosting resistance, it shouldn't take long for its resistances to stack up. As for how powerful resistance can be, where does it show up most directly? To put it simply, if your fire resistance keeps stacking, even if you're not immune to fire, your ability to withstand fire attacks will increase dramatically. Normally, a fireball that could melt it, if it lands on it now, might only burn off the outer layer of its skin. That's the power of resistance. And right now, he swallowed nervously. You're also very careful, pulling your legs out from the giant snake's corpse. This snake's body is a real treasure, especially its blood. Although it's highly poisonous, it's not deadly to you. It's perfect for boosting your poison attribute. Once you can bathe in snake blood, that'll mark the completion of Phase 1 for poison resistance. Thinking of this, you spit out quite a bit of silk and wrapped the entire snake corpse up. Then you slowly dragged it toward your lair. That's your main base. Time trickles by. In the blink of an eye, it's already midnight. By now, you've managed to bring the snake's corpse back to your web lair. And not only that, in your lair, you also found a huge rock. And inside that rock, used your legs to dig out a millstone-sized pit. Then you gently lifted your legs, carefully aiming at the snake's neck, and slashed down hard. With a crisp tearing sound, countless streams of crimson blood gushed out like a fountain, rushing into the big pit. The constant hissing sound of corrosion could be heard, as if the huge pit could barely contain it. Luckily, the rock you picked was pretty good, and quite sturdy. It didn't melt right away. As for the snake's venom, although terrifying, the poison in its blood wasn't that much. It could only corrode one layer of his skin, not as exaggerated as you'd imagine. So, this pit can actually contain the snake's blood. And now, looking at this pool of vivid red blood, you went silent for a while. Then a look of determination flashed in his eyes. If you're not even tough on yourself, how will you ever be tough on your enemies? Bit by bit, you slowly lift your legs and stretch them toward the blood pool. And in the next instant, accompanied by a long, sizzling sound of corrosion, a jolt of sharp pain courses through you. You cry out in your heart. But you also notice something on the interface. Ding, you are suffering from strong poison. Poison resistance plus 0.2. Ding, you are suffering from strong poison. Poison resistance plus 0.2. Ding, you are suffering from strong poison. Poison resistance plus 0.2. With each increase, Your poison resistance gradually climbs. Looks like it works. You smile to yourself. You also feel the pain in your leg has eased up quite a bit. And that's no illusion. As your poison resistance continues to rise, your ability to withstand venomous blood keeps getting stronger. Even though it grows slowly, the effect's still obvious. Soon after, you decisively lift your leg from the blood pool. Those legs are your hunting guarantees, so they can't be damaged. If you're careless and mess them up, you'd probably explode with rage. So moderation is key. You mustn't overdo it. Once it feels about right, that's enough. It's just like how in those old martial arts novels, people would learn iron sand palm. You can't achieve perfection overnight. You have to take it slow. There's plenty of time anyway, so you're not in a rush. And more than that, you're actually looking forward to the snake's gallbladder. That thing should be a great tonic. With that in mind, you pounce on the snake's corpse. And not just that. It's not just the gallbladder, but also fangs or whatever. You can add them to your collection. Every part of your prey should be used. If you can eat it, eat it. If not, just look at it, or use it for something else. Too bad you're a spider. If you were human, you wouldn't mind making yourself some clothes out of animal hides. But this is fine too. After quickly processing the snake's corpse, you look toward the deepest part of the canyon. There, several animal hides are laid out in a nest. That's his spider lair. And by using the hides of his prey, he makes his spider lair warmer and more comfortable. Even cozier. Late at night, the Silk Valley is as quiet as ever. It was at this time. If you look carefully at the deepest part of the canyon, you would definitely spot a black spider the size of a basketball. It is quietly lying in its nest, thinking about life as if it were human. Yes, thinking. But what you're thinking about isn't life. It's how to plan your own cultivation. Using a blood pool is best for boosting poison resistance. Once every day or two. Any more and it's too much to handle. In a soft whisper, you also lift your legs? Vaguely. He actually feels a kind of indescribable numbness in his legs. It should be a side effect of bathing in poisonous blood. Luckily, as time passes, the numbness gradually improves. Otherwise, you'd be cursing. And that's why you don't want to bathe in the poisonous blood again. Too much is worse than too little. Before this numb feeling completely fades, you won't bathe in poisonous blood again. This is nothing like your previous life, where there were hospitals. If anything really happened, or you ended up with side effects, he'd be in serious trouble. So caution and more caution. Careful is the way to last. And you also vaguely realize his talent for adaptability seems to have a not-so-obvious drawback. If you're too eager to boost resistance, there's a real risk of self-destruction. In a soft whisper, you gain some clarity. It's not really a drawback, but it is something to watch out for. After simply planning your training, you begin your daily routine, polishing your god-level abilities. Silk and webs, a light laugh. In an instant, you spit out a giant web the size of a millstone and shoot it toward a massive rock nearby. This is spiderweb. It can restrict someone's movements. If an enemy of the same level is caught in this web, they will have a big problem. And it's worth noting, the size of the web depends on how fast you weave. The bigger the web, the longer it takes to weave. By your estimation, to make a web over 10 meters wide, with your current skill, it takes at least half a minute. That amount of time means a giant web over 10 meters isn't possible in a split-second battle, but a millstone-sized web only takes a few breaths. So in regular combat, you always use a millstone-sized giant web. As for bigger webs, there's really no need, and your spider silk is limited. It can't replenish quickly. If weaving webs uses too much silk,
It means
you can't use other silk-based abilities. For example, right now you whisper again. A sharp sound splits the air. On the distant massive rock, a bullet-sized hole suddenly appears. This is another way to use your spider silk. Shoot out a strand of silk like a bullet. It has deadly power, enough to pierce through flesh, and even shatter bones. Webs are for control. Silk shots are your main attack. That's how you use your spider silk right now. You also use silk to move around. Shoot silk onto trees or rocks, and drag yourself, quickly crossing all kinds of obstacles. That should be another way to use it. But at the moment, you haven't fully mastered it. Basically, you're not skilled enough yet. It's not enough to call it your trademark skill. Once you're used to it in the future, I guess this will greatly enhance your agility. A smile appears in your heart. You're also looking forward to that day. But that's not all. Because the divine enhancement of your silk has given it limitless possibilities. So when it comes to development, your silk is different from that of ordinary spiders. How can you be so sure? That's because other spiders' silk can't move at will like yours, can it? For example, when you focus your mind now, multiple strands of shimmering silk start swirling around you nonstop, almost as if they're dancing, as if they're cheering, even rejoicing. Not only that, you also sense that you can control them with even finer precision. These silk threads, can they be straightened like piano wires endlessly? Suddenly thinking about it, you're taken aback, because these shimmering threads really do start tightening without stopping. Amidst a brief silence, you tentatively control these threads, slashing them toward the distance. With a crisp sound, under your slightly stunned gaze, a branch of a nearby tree is silently sliced in two. If you take a closer look now, you'll definitely see, at the broken spot on the branch, the crystalline silk threads trembling gently. And this is their masterpiece, stretched out just like piano wires, with no need for support from other objects. Then, while moving at high speed, they slice through the tree branch, swiftly and terrifyingly, enough to send chills down your spine. But after finishing all these actions, you rarely feel a trace of exhaustion. Yes, exhaustion. But it's not a physical tiredness, it's a mental one. Could it be that this kind of casual silk manipulation consumes your mental energy? Whispering to yourself, you're a bit confused. Mental energy can't be seen or touched, but it truly exists in this world. At least in the chat channel, you've seen the term mental energy more than once. That concept, mental energy. Whispering to yourself, you turn your attention to the mind section. As one of your attributes, your mind stat is 12, while an average person's is 10. So that means he's a bit smarter than normal people. And this stat should be closely tied to mental power. A smile rises in you. You've also decided to use 2,000 evolution points to develop your brain domain. This was always his plan. Now his evolution points have reached 2,200. So that's enough. Therefore, the idea of enhancing the brain domain can finally be carried out. With this thought, you speak directly. I want to use 2,000 evolution points to enhance my brain domain. As soon as you finish speaking, a line of text pops up before your eyes. Ding. Are you sure you want to use 2,000 evolution points to enhance your brain domain? Confirm, you nod. You've made up your mind. Immediately after confirming, a string of messages also pops up. Ding! Enhancing the brain domain will take 10 minutes. Please select a safe location. Ding! Brain domain enhancement will subject you to intense, unbearable pain. Please be prepared. With these notifications coming one after another, you're hit with a sudden jolt. But not long after that, there's no more time for preparations. Piercing screams suddenly echo throughout the valley. The pain is unimaginable. It's as if thousands of silver needles are stabbing into your brain. Even you find it nearly unbearable. But as these stabs persist, you actually see your mental energy, which has never changed before, rarely begins to increase. 12.2, 12.43, 13.2, on and on, steadily climbing. Meanwhile, the pain in your mind grows even more intense. But you can't pass out. You absolutely cannot, because you see. Another alert, ding. The development of your brain domain depends on your ability to withstand mental stress. If you can't bear it, further development will stop. That line makes you grit your teeth hard. You have to endure. You must, in your past life as a human. You clearly knew what brain domain development meant. This is a once-in-a-lifetime chance, so you must seize every opportunity. Time passes slowly. In the blink of an eye, half the night is gone. But during this half night, every second feels like a year. Your body is drenched with sweat, and you're gasping for breath. Your eyes are still locked on the mental stats section, where a dazzling number now reads 21. It increased by 9 full points. The corner of your mouth curls up. You're satisfied. Even though he doesn't know how much others improve through brain domain development, or how much it can increase, he has a feeling that 9 points is already pretty good. Still, it's a pity he can't hold on any longer. A wave of indescribable drowsiness washes over him, and in the next instant, your consciousness fades into chaos. His whole body collapses inside the nest, falling into slumber. Just as you fall asleep, he doesn't know. One message after another keeps popping up in front of him. Ding! Your mind has reached over 20 points. You've gained the mental probe ability. Now you can read the strength of monsters whose mental power is weaker than yours. You even have a chance to glimpse their abilities. Ding! Your mind is being attacked. Mental resistance plus 0.2. Ding! Your mind is being attacked. Mental resistance plus 0.2. Ding! Your mind is being attacked. Mental resistance plus 0.2. Message after message rolls in, which means you have entered a brand new domain, the realm of the mind, a terrifying world different from the physical. And in this world, you will truly gain power beyond the ordinary. The fog thickens. Dawn is approaching. When the first light of morning pierces the mist, you slowly open your bleary eyes. You feel totally exhausted, but also strangely refreshed. And the thing that really shocks you is the change you've noticed in your brain domain. A strange, indescribable feeling rises in his heart. It's truly hard to describe. Hard to put into words, but you definitely feel. His thought process has sped up a lot. Before, things that took a few seconds to figure out now only take him a second. Is this what developing the brain domain feels like? Whispering that in your mind, you notice something else. It's that he feels like the world has slowed down a lot. No, it's not that the world has slowed. It's actually that his thinking is much faster. According to relativity, the faster your mind works, the more the world seems to slow down. If this were to happen during a battle, this means when the enemy attacks, he'll be able to think about more options, and he can launch more counterattacks. With that thought, a smile appeared on your face too. As expected, his 2,000 evolution points spent developing his brain domain weren't wasted. It was absolutely worth it. The brain domain is the most mysterious thing, and the most terrifying. With a sigh, you shifted your gaze to the notification bar. Wow, that's a ton of notifications. And he actually gained 2 abilities. One is an active ability, probe. It allows you to check the level of monsters whose mental power is weaker than yours, and sometimes glimpse some of their abilities. The other is a passive ability. It gives a certain degree of resistance to mental attacks. Simply put, it's mental resistance. Looks like his suffering this night wasn't in vain. At least his mental resistance has reached 5, which is the highest among all his resistances. After spending 2,000 evolution points to develop his brain domain, you only have 200 evolution points left. My 2,000 evolution points were definitely well spent. After all, this is the brain domain, an area that humans in his previous life could never reach. And now, as you think back carefully, you can actually recall many blurry details from your past life. He can even recite some ancient poems he had forgotten before. Just like that. This really shows how frighteningly powerful the brain domain enhancement is. And that's what gave you a taste of its benefits. Next, you plan to try strengthening your eyes and ears. Enhancing your eyes should greatly improve your vision, and might even awaken an eye-related ability. As for enhancing your ears, it's about your hearing. As for the next brain domain upgrade, there's no rush for that. After all, the next upgrade will require 20,000 evolution points. It gets more expensive every time. So, trying to strengthen the brain domain a second time soon will be very difficult. With that in mind, other areas should obviously be prioritized. And that's your approach to using evolution points. All-around enhancement. That way, he becomes completely invincible. No one else could manage that. Because evolution points are limited. But you're different. He has a system. This system can help him automatically break through when skill proficiency maxes out, saving hassle. So you can save a lot of evolution points. That way, with the same amount of evolution points, you can naturally strengthen more parts of your body and develop even more abilities. That's how you stay a step ahead and keep getting further ahead. While lost in thought, you also continue to hone your various abilities. In this constant training, all his skill proficiencies kept increasing. But not long after Ding, leg burst ability proficiency has reached 100. Ding, you can spend 1000 evolution points to upgrade leg burst from level 1 to level 2. With one notification after another, you paused in surprise. The proficiency for leg burst actually maxed out. He hadn't even noticed. But that's a good thing. As for the second notification, you chose to ignore it. Spend 1000 evolution points to upgrade leg burst from level 1 to level 2. Sorry, that was a bit extravagant. With 1000 evolution points. Enhanced vision and hearing. Isn't this great? You smile inwardly. Yet once again you raise your bladed limb and slash fiercely at the air. Swish, accompanied by a sound of slicing through the air. But you feel a warm current surge from your bladed limb. And with that comes a cold mechanical notification, suddenly ringing in your ear. Ding! Scythe leg proficiency maxed out. Automatically initiating breakthrough. Is this the power of my system? It really can help me break through the shackles of my abilities and automatically evolve. As you murmur softly, you also notice that all the stats on his panel have changed. LV2 Scythe leg, blade as sharp as a sickle. Able to change form to a certain extent, can become an even more fearsome blade, or revert back to ordinary spider legs. Your eyes narrow in concentration. You also sense a mysterious power, seeming to surge in his leg blades. And at that moment, as your thoughts shift, you try to activate the scythe leg ability. Boom! A sudden rumble. You can clearly see your scythe legs extending, growing even longer and more slender. At a glance, they even emit a chilling glint, sending shivers down your spine. Now your scythe legs are truly like a menacing weapon. This is what LV2 scythe legs are like. They look pretty terrifying. You smile inwardly. You then raise your scythe leg and slash at a giant boulder nearby slash. With a crisp sound, a stone half a meter wide is split right in two, revealing a smooth mirror-like cross-section. That's actually kind of scary. You exclaim in awe and continue to manipulate your scythe limbs, changing forms. Before long, looking at your scythe legs, now indistinguishable from the other 6, the corners of your mouth turn up slightly. Now your scythe legs look like they've never evolved at all, just a bit thicker than the other 6. This should be their original state. But if you want, these 2 spider legs can instantly become the sharpest scythe legs, able to slay anything. So why did you change your scythe legs back to regular spider legs? Obviously, to hide your true power. If others saw those deadly sickle-like blades, they'd be on guard instantly. But like this right now, when they just look like normal spider legs, no one suspects a thing. And when you get close, those ordinary spider legs can suddenly transform into razor-sharp scythe legs, and then strike a fatal blow. That's what you really want to see. What you didn't expect was that after upgrading your scythe leg skill, it could even return to its original state. That does make it easier to keep a low profile. LV2 scythe legs really live up to their name. They can even change form now. With a sense of newfound excitement, you're genuinely surprised. If used wisely, it becomes a killer move that could fool anyone. Life as a spider is monotonous yet interesting. Monotonous because every day is the same basic routine: hunting, training, and even sleeping. And interesting because You can really feel yourself getting stronger every single day. And you encounter different prey all the time. These prey bring you an unusual thrill. Just like now, there's a series of growls, one after another. A white creature that looks like a fox, its fur bristling all over, its eyes staring at you unblinkingly. This guy has very sharp senses. He must have picked up on your danger. You smile inwardly. You try to activate your sensibility. Species, wind fox, rank, level 9. Assessment, moves like the wind, appears and disappears at will. Extremely fast. A monster with outstanding speed. You gaze at it calmly. Your eyes narrow slightly. Such a small fox, yet it's a level 9 monster. Just 2 levels below you. And it's great at speed. You're momentarily stunned. You can't help but feel helpless. Ever since you reached level 10, your leveling speed has slowed down a lot. It's been 3 days already, and you've barely made it to the next level. Finally hitting level 11. But at least, in these 3 days, you've gotten used to many new abilities. Your combat strength has jumped up several ranks. But right now, looking at this not-so-big wind fox, you decide to really have some fun with him. But just as you gaze at the wind fox, he has no idea. His mind is on the brink of collapse. Why am I so unlucky? I just leveled up and immediately ran into such a terrifying monster. Oh my God, he cries out inside. The wind fox is extremely anxious. That's right, this wind fox is actually a player. In his previous life, he was a track and field star at a university, even a national level athlete. Handsome too, and considered a god by many girls. Who would have thought he'd end up in this hellish world? Luckily, he's good at running, and reincarnated as a wind fox which excels at speed. That's how he stands out among all the players. And it's worth mentioning, his innate ability is danger sense. Compared to regular players as well as monsters, he's much more sensitive to danger. That innate skill has also allowed him to thrive in this forest. He's been doing quite well. In just 1 month, he's already reached level 9. He just wanted to take this breakthrough as a chance to get used to his power. But little did he expect that a random spider he'd meet would be this terrifying. Especially when this spider stared at him with all 8 eyes at once. It made him almost forget to breathe. Every hair on his body stood on end. An indescribable chill spread in his heart. Run! I have to run. His innate skill, danger sense, keeps telling him the same thing. And that's to get out of here. If he doesn't run now, he's so scared he slowly starts to back away. The wind fox's blue eyes stay locked onto the spider. And in the very next instant, whoosh! With a sudden burst through the air, the wind fox sees a black shadow charging straight at him. So fast, he exclaims in his heart. The wind fox instantly activates his ability. Gale step, wrapping wind around his limbs, greatly increasing his speed. Whoosh! With a flicker, a wild gust of wind rises up. The wind fox immediately dashes backward. But before he can get far, a chill runs down his spine. Instinctively turned around, at that moment, the wind fox suddenly saw that spider. The originally unremarkable spider legs suddenly transformed into scythe-like blades. With a sharp sound, it barely dodged the attack. But this wind fox noticed a large tree not far away. The tree was suddenly split in half, revealing a cut as smooth as a mirror. A chill ran down its spine. This wind fox was honestly being a bit reckless now. If it had been struck by that, there's no way it could survive. This damn forest. Why are there such savage monsters here? I knew it. I really hate spiders. I'm so scared I'm about to cry. Tears welled up in the wind fox's eyes. Honestly, she's really just a normal girl. Well, maybe a bit prettier than average. And she happens to be good at running. So why does she have to go through all this? She really doesn't want to die. There's just this indescribable sense of grievance in her heart. This wind fox kept dodging the black spiders, fierce slashes. But at this moment, the wind fox was shocked to discover that the black spider didn't seem to want to kill her. Its attacks were terrifying, but every time, they just barely brushed past her fur. It wasn't because she had quick reflexes. It was that the spider didn't want to kill her. That's right, it didn't want to kill her. If the spider really wanted to, most likely on the very first strike, she would already be a cold corpse. That sixth sense every girl has made her realize this. But in the next instant, something suddenly occurred to the wind fox, and her face froze. Wait, could this thing actually be a player? But just as that thought flashed through her mind, boom, with a loud crash, the wind fox's whole body was violently sent flying backward. Unimaginable pain shot through her body, and before she could react, a giant white spider web, half a meter wide, was already coming down to cover her. All right, I was overthinking it. Her heart sank to rock bottom. The wind fox's consciousness started to fade from the pain. So this guy is a player, right? With a sudden sigh, looking at the now unconscious white fox trapped inside the web, he couldn't help but feel a bit helpless. Is it a player or not? Honestly, for him, it's not hard to tell. A real monster's reaction speed and strength are far beyond what regular players can match. These days, most players just arrived, and they're obviously stiff in combat. But more importantly, have you ever seen a monster break into tears after just one slash with red-rimmed eyes? So the moment you attacked, you already realized the wind fox was a player, and a player who's kind of emotionally fragile. At this thought, your gaze fell on the wind fox again. There's something around its neck that looks like a necklace, which isn't something ordinary monsters have, but instead it's a sign of being a player. Not long ago, he saw someone in the group suggest getting some decorations for themselves, like necklaces or maybe tattoos. That way, when players run into each other, they can recognize each other as players. To be honest, that's a pretty good idea. After all, we're all Blue Star people. If there are no interests involved, it's best not to become enemies with each other. According to some high IQ players' speculation, their real enemy should be this other world. Yes, an enemy of the world. A top-tier player said this in the World Channel. We arrived in this world, supposedly to invade it. Right now, we're avatars of the fourth calamity. And our mission, as we grow, is to take over this world. So our enemies are all sentient beings of this world. His theory has a lot of loopholes. But honestly, his theory won a lot of player approval. Even now, this top-tier player is already starting to form a group in the World Channel. His organization is called Starfall. Every player can tattoo a 5-pointed star pattern on themselves, considered as joining. Do you believe it? That guy isn't just organizing in the World Channel. It's more likely he's organizing in the regional channel, maybe in that top player's territory. A proto-organization is already forming. Humans in the previous life weren't short of smart people, nor were they lacking in experts. There are many experts like this. And right now, you quietly stare at the wind fox. You're a bit hesitant too. So what should you do now? Forget it, just bring it back and see. Thinking this, you drag the wind fox, walking towards Spider Valley, and on the way back with the wind fox, you rarely begin to wonder about your future. Are you really going to do it alone? He believes that alone, he can grow stronger. But the problem is, the power of numbers can't be ignored. Just like the Starfall organization mentioned earlier, that top-tier player calls himself Starfall. It's even more likely that he already has a group and is hunting with purpose. A prey a single player can't handle. Several players, or even a dozen players could take down together. With this, even if that Starfall player isn't super talented, he can still grow quickly. If you remember correctly, that Starfall player was saying in the World Channel 2 days ago.
His level was up to 10, right?
You know, you're level 11, largely thanks to your god-tier spider silk, which helps you fight above your rank. And you can weave webs, waiting for prey, just talking hunting. His efficiency is probably several times higher than other players. That's how he reached level 11. But now that Starfall player is at level 10, you click your tongue in surprise. You're amazed too. This is the cleverness of humans. Players with intelligence, sacrificed to powerful monsters. It's not as simple as 1-1. Although most players haven't adapted to monsters' power, their strength will grow over time and keep showing. You believe these players growing up later will become far stronger than real monsters. For example, himself. He laughs in his heart. You're a bit proud too, to have made it this far on your own. Among so many players, you definitely rank near the top. But you don't know right now. He still underestimated himself. Among all the players, he's already way beyond just ranking at the top. Except for those monsters who started way ahead. He definitely counts among the most powerful. Most players are still just trying to survive, let alone hunting and leveling up. Just staying alive is impressive. Just like this wind tiger. Don't look at his level 9. His hunting and fighting abilities really aren't great. The reason he leveled up so fast is mostly due to luck. He found the body of a very high-level monster that let him make it to level 9. As for how pitiful he was before, let's not even talk about it. Every day was either escaping or preparing to escape, if not for his transformed monster, which is a wind type, best at speed, plus his talent for danger sense. He would have long been food for other monsters. And that's most players' usual situation.
Now,
Players are showing a clear polarization. Players adapting to the world grow stronger in every fight.
every day.
They're growing at a scary speed. And those not adapting to the world either become food or are surviving on the run, battling for survival. Their miserable situation is beyond everyone's imagination. Just what you saw on the World Channel. There was a player who apparently hasn't eaten meat for 4 or 5 days. Every day just chewing leaves and roots. And living in fear every day, afraid of running into monsters. If his willpower wasn't decent, he probably would have killed himself already.